Hello. So for the final project of this section and of the whole course, we're going to be making a graphics video game. So for this project, we're going to be making a simple Pac-Man game using all of the skills that you've learned throughout this course. You'll need to use your skills in graphics, list manipulation, writing your own functions, event handling, dynamics, and all kinds of other things. Before you watch the second half of this video, which is going to be a step-by-step guide, we recommend trying this out for yourself, writing your own game. In this project, we're going to be making a simplified version of the game, which is going to look a little bit like this. So as we can see, the red circle moves with the arrow keys, and the goal is to collect the green dots while avoiding getting hit by the red or the purple circles. Notice that the game includes a playable sprite, a way to earn points, a way to track those points, enemies, a lose condition, so a way for the player to lose the game, a win condition, a way for the player to win the game, and an interactive interface that allows players to use their keyboard to move the sprite, and also to hit a button to restart. Big note for this game, you're not going to be able to build it in the cloud, so you will need to use a desktop version of Wolfram to both write and to run this code. At this point, you're welcome to pause this video and go and write something without any of our input. The second half of this video is going to be taking you through our step-by-step of how we built this game, but you don't need to follow our instructions. Use your computational thinking skills to figure out what you should do. So let's go through step-by-step and figure out what it is that we need to accomplish in order to make this game work. So the very first step is that you need to make a board. So as with all coding projects, we should start with the simplest part. So begin by just putting a red circle and some random small green circles into a graphics object. You don't need to be able to move them yet, and it should look something like this. So we created an 11 by 11 grid of randomly placed prizes made of circles with diameter 0.1 and a player circle with diameter of 0.5 centered at 1, 1. Then you need to figure out how to move the player around the board. For now, it's not going to do anything, it's just going to move up, down, left and right when those arrows are pressed on the keyboard. You'll need to use the player circle's coordinates to move it. Make sure that the player circle can't get outside a 12 by 12 boundary. And to make future steps work, it's important that we track where the player was in the previous step. Then, we're going to set up eating a prize. For this mechanic, whenever the player has the same coordinates as one of the prizes, you get a point and the prize disappears. Because we'll be using this mechanic no matter which arrow key we press, no matter which direction we approach the green dot from, it's simpler to run this code whenever any of the keys are pressed, which you can do using key down within your event handler. You'll also need to set up a variable for points and a variable for prize positions. You can then replace your code to find the positions within the graphics object to use the variable prize positions. To check that it's working, you could also add a plot label to your graphic showing the value of points. Now that we have a working game, so we can go around and we can pick up our prizes, we're going to add some enemies. For this step, the enemies aren't going to do anything, they're just there. In this step, we're also going to create a function to draw the board, as our code within the dynamic module is starting to look a little bit messy. So create two ghosts in two set starting locations on the board. Those can be any locations. You'll need to create a variable for each of them, ghost position 1 and ghost position 2. We set our ghost starting positions to be 5, 5 and 7, 7. You'll also need to create circles for them within your graphics object. This works exactly the same as your player circle. Make sure that you're joining the lists correctly. There are a couple of different ways that you can use join to get the same result, and if your way is different from our solution, then that's absolutely fine. When you're happy with your graphics code, abstract it into a function that takes the prize positions, the player position, and the ghost positions. We've called our function drawWhole in the solution, and you can call it whatever you want. Your output should work something a little bit like this. Note that the ghosts aren't doing anything right now, they're just sitting there. The next function that we're going to make is for moving those ghosts. In this simple version of the game, each time that a player moves, the ghosts both move in a random direction within the board. We're going to write a single function that gets the new position for the ghosts. We called our function moveGhosts. The function should check if the ghost is inside the board. If it is inside the board, randomly decide if the new ghost position will be one up, one down, one left, or one right of its current position. When you have your function, use it to change the value of ghost position and ghost 2 position whenever any key is pressed, whether or not you get a point. Then we need to set up a lose condition. So players lose if they get hit by a ghost. So in this step, add to your key down code to set all the variables back to their original values if the player's previous position is the same as either of the ghost's positions. The next thing that we're going to want to do is set up our win condition, and we're going to do some styling at the same time. For this game, we're going to do something very simple with the win condition. If there are no more prizes to collect, we'll just change the point counter in the plot label to read "you win," and that'll be it. While we're editing the plot label, we're also just going to do some styling to make the label and the plot itself look nicer. We changed the background color of the graphics object and changed the text styling to make the plot label look nicer. You can make it look however you would like. Our final step is being able to restart the game. So at the moment, when we win, our only option is to just endlessly continue to move around and avoid the ghosts. We should make a button that resets the entire game. So you should create a button that resets all of the variables to their starting values. Great, at this point you have built a playable game. You can continue to improve and tweak your game however you'd like. Some further things that you might be able to add to your game are you could figure out a way to include a maze or obstacles to make your game more similar to the original Pac-Man. You could figure out a system for lives so that a player can lose the game several times before they officially lose. You could figure out a way to display a "you lose" or "you win" screen beyond just changing the plot label. You could figure out better ways for your enemies to move. So at the moment, they just move at random in a random direction every single time the player moves. You could figure out a better way for enemies to move. So at the moment, they just move in a random direction whenever the player moves. But you could change it so that they converge on the player as the player moves. So you might want to look up functions like Manhattan distance to do that. You could also create and incorporate graphics for Pac-Man and the ghosts. You could even have the player circle, open and close its mouth as it eats a prize, or face in a different direction as it's moving. Ideally, you would make these sprites using code, but you can also find an image and incorporate that into your code, although that will be quite complicated with the graphics system as it's no longer a graphics object. You can also examine some other implementations of Pac-Man in Wolfram Language for inspiration and see how else you might change your code to incorporate other features. There are loads of Pac-Man game using Wolfram Language posts on Wolfram Community that you should have a look at. And then once you're happy with your Pac-Man game, you could try making a different game using graphics and dynamics in Wolfram Language. You could try to implement games that are roughly at our skill level right now, like Snake, Battleships, Wordle, 2048, Flappy Bird, a couple of different platform games. Or you can just make up your own game and have as much fun as you would like. Fantastic. We hope that you learn a lot from this project and that you've learned a lot from this course, and we hope that you have a really great time making your own games.